coming your way on Sports Channel Ohio. Have a very pleasant good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bruce Drennan. And working with me in the majority of these ball games, former Indian right-hander and American League All-Star Larry Sorensen.
Great to be back in Cleveland, Bruce. That's a familiar wind coming off the lake, very similar to the one over at Municipal Stadium.
Well, talking about these two ball clubs, Cleveland State, you mentioned the wind, Larry. It's blowing out toward right field, and Cleveland State's known for their power. Akron's more of a hit-and-run team. Two established coaches here locally and nationally, for that matter, with their respective programs. First of all, Cleveland State and Fernando Arango.
It's been a little bit of a struggle for Cleveland State. They're 3-8 on the year, had a tough spring trip. They're hoping to get on track after their big win last week.
And, of course, on the Akron side, it's Dave Frost. He's been there 17 years in a very successful program.
Also has a very fine program, 8-13 on the year. These two clubs are really going to battle it out today.
No, the last time these two teams met, Cleveland State did a job on Akron, beat them 12-0.
It was 12-0, a hitter's kind of day, but there won't be that many balls carrying to left field today. We'll see how that left-handed power does for Cleveland State.
Coach Frost told me that his pitching staff is good enough to keep him in the majority of games. They manufacture runs. And as I mentioned, Cleveland State, Fernando's been known to have some power hitters.
Right, they do. They'll come right at you. They like to tee it up. Two very different styles of play, and we'll see which one wins today.
Let's talk about the pitchers. First of all, for Cleveland State, you've got Jim Adams going for them, a couple of lefties.
Jim Adams is a senior. He's had some control problems this year. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. Not overpowering stuff, but he's a real competitor.
And the southpaw for Akron is Andy Findley.
Andy Findley won 5 games last year for Akron, a very bright prospect. He's had some trouble this year, not overpowering, only 5'10", 165 pounds, but he'll throw everything but the kitchen sink at you, like to come at you from a lot of different angles.
Well, we're looking forward to it, ladies and gentlemen, and great to have you with us. Akron and CSU today on Sports Channel Ohio. We'll have a starting lineup for you right after this. Okay, leading off the ball game for Akron is Jeff Rollison. He's their left fielder. Akron 8-13 in the campaign. Cleveland State 3-8. First pitch in the ball game is underway. Strike called. Jeff Rollison, a .306 hitter on the year. And that's high and away, ball one. Jim Adams, a southpaw. Adams is 2-1 on the season with a 2.19 earned run average. A hard hit ball right up the middle and a base hit for Rollison. So the left fielder gets things started for the Zips. Let's take a look at the starting lineup now for the Akron Zips. Rollison, the leadoff man. In left field, as I mentioned, Mike McGuire at third base, Jeff Fisher at second, Chris Gaskins in right, Ed Hetmensky catching, Paul Simmer at first base, Dave Hudson, the DH, Bill Hagee at shortstop, and the center fielder is George Kashak. There's the strike call. Mike McGuire, the third baseman up there now. He's a .274 hitter on the year. As you can see, he's knocked in 11 runs. Pitch out. Runner not going. 1 ball, 1 strike. Defensively, let's set the Vikings for you. Left to right, it's Campbell, Zunich, and Brandt. Third to first, Rodriguez, Schubek, Wallensack, and Wintersteller. The battery of Adams and McCourt. That's foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The coaches for Akron at first base, Scott Hogue. And over at third is Sean Carmichael.
Bruce, we mentioned that Akron likes to run. They like to hit and run. Rollison is a very good base runner, but he's been bothered by a sore quad muscle lately.
And the pitch missing away. Count is even at 2-2.
Rollison's 5 for 5 in the stolen base department, but he's had some trouble getting that muscle loose. It's that cold Cleveland weather in early April.
See those stats on Adams. 2-1 record with a very good ERA. And the pitch. Took a little something off that as McGuire fouls it at the plate. And the count holds. just underway. Akron at Cleveland State. Cleveland State playing their home games at Gordon Park. They've been playing their home games here for several years now. Two balls, two strikes. There's a hard hit ball towards second. Bobbled by Wallensack, but he gets the sure out at first base and retires McGuire as Rollison advances into scoring position at second.
The field is in very good condition. We took a walk around earlier, but you can see that it's still a little bit sandy in the infield. Wallensack, as he bent over to the left, his foot slipped a little on him. He stayed with the ball and still made the throw to get one out. But now we've got Rollison in scoring position.
Batting in the third spot for Coach Frost of Akron is Jeff Fisher. He's their second baseman. Fisher is a .318 batter on the air. Got a home run and 11 RBIs. You mentioned on our opening, Fred, Akron's more of a hit-and-run ball club. They manufacture runs. Good pitch.
This is a young team for Akron, too, Bruce. The freshmen hitting second, third, and fourth, McGuire, Fisher, and Gaskins. They only start one senior.
Our umpires working the balls and strikes, Dave Onesco. And on the base paths, Tom Cowley. And the pitch. Outside. One ball, one strike. First of several telecasts of college baseball for you here on Sports Channel Ohio, featuring Cleveland State and Akron U mostly. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit ball through the hole and left. Runner being waved home, and he will easily score as Akron tallies first and grabs a 1-0 lead. RBI single to left for Jeff Fisher, the second baseman.
Here you see the breaking ball stayed up over the plate. Fisher hits it into the hole, very well placed. The ball dies in the outfield grass. There's not going to be time for a play at home.
Well, already Akron doing better than what they did the last time out against CSU when they were shellacked. The Zips got zapped 12-0. That's a strike call.
I knew you were going to break that line out on us. You said it before, and we tried to get you to avoid it. You couldn't do it, could you?
As you can see, Gaskins hitting .351. Contributed in the cleanup spot with 12 RBIs. One on, one out, one in. That's foul. Runner was going. Chris Gaskins. All-state selection his senior year, as you can see. Looking down for a sign. Gaskins, the right fielder. The balls, 2 strikes. Waste pitch, high and away. 1-2.
Reminds you a little bit of Shea Stadium with those planes flying overhead, doesn't it?
That wind, though, that you mentioned it. It's blowing pretty strong out toward right field. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Pitch. He's out of there. Second out of the inning. First strikeout recorded by Adams. Now there's 2 gone, and it brings up Ed Hedmansky.
There you see a good moving fastball on the outside half from Adams. He only throws 83 or 84, but he's got good movement on his fastball. He'll also come at you with a curveball and a changeup, and occasionally he cuts his fastball to try and run it into right-handers.
Hedmansky, a .326 hitter with 2 homers and 14 RBIs on the campaign. Pitch to him as a ball, high and away. Hedmansky is the catcher. He's a junior from Hubbard. Fly ball, short right center, and that falls in for a base hit in front of Brandt as the runner on first advances over to third, and Akron still keeping the inning alive now. Runners at first and third and 2 gone. 3 hits in the inning for the Zips.
You see the breaking ball run in a little bit on the hands of Hetmansky, but he fought it off the opposite way. Good piece of hitting.
First baseman Paul Simmer is next. One to nothing Zips in the top of the first. And the pitch goes down low. Simmer, the first baseman, struggling at the plate with a 171 average. No homers with 7 RBIs. 2 on, 2 out. Swung on and missed. Runner going, and the throw goes into center field. Akron will tally for another run. Well, a college mistake there, Larry.
Well, Coach Fernando Arango told us before the game that McCourt's been having a little trouble with his balance coming out from behind the plate. You see that he's back deep in the batter's box, deep in the catcher's box, rather, and his throw sails off to the right side of the base.
Akron still with an opportunity to score again with a duck on the pond. Likes of Hetmansky. There's a strike call. Left-hander Jim Adams of Cleveland State. Rocky first inning. 1-1 pitch. That's away.
Adams has got 2 of the 3 Cleveland State wins, and oddly enough, both of those were shutouts.
Two delivery is high, and the count goes full. Adams from Trinity, Northfield Center. And he delivers. That's ball. Count holds, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
There's a good example of the kind of aggressive play that Dave Frost likes to play with his team. He starts his catcher with 2 outs in the first inning. Hetmansky has no steals this year.
3-2 pitch. Swung on. Short little looper to right, but well positioned with Brent. He makes the grab to retire the side. In the first inning, though, for the Akron Zips, they scored twice on 3 base hits. We go to the bottom of the score. Akron 2 and Cleveland State coming to bat. Look at the starting lineup for CSU. Don Wallensack at second base. Brian Brandt in right field. Julio Rodriguez at third. Batting in the cleanup position is Matt McCourt. Mike Wintersteller at first base. Chris Zunich in center field. Steve Horley, the DH. They use the DH in college ball. A.J. Shubik at shortstop. And Pat Campbell batting in the ninth position in left field. The starting pitcher for Akron, another lefty, is Andy Finley. Finley is a sophomore, 5'10", 165 pounds, from Mogador. He has 1 letter to his credit in his college career. Posted a 5-4 record last year for Coach Frost. Registered 55 and a third innings pitched while appearing in 13 Zip ball games. Let's set Akron for you defensively. Rollison in left. Kashak in center. Gaskins in right. Third to first, it's McGuire, Hagee, Fisher, and Simmer. And a battery of Finley and Hetmansky. Wallensack looks for the strike. Don Wallensack, the second baseman, hitting a 115, no homers, and just 1 RBI. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Akron. That's fouled at the plate. And Wallensack in the hole at 0-2. Good day for baseball, considering the time of the year. Sporadic weather, of course, in the Cleveland area. That's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wallensack saw limited action last year. He waves at that one, a drop third strike, but to throw down the first in plenty of time, and Wallensack is retired. 1 gone.
Finley won't really blow you away with anything. He only throws 82 or 83 miles an hour. But he likes to change where his arm comes from, where his delivery is, and he'll throw just about any pitch up there. Has quite a variety. Also a very smart pitcher for just a sophomore.
Right fielder Brian Brandt is next for CSU. Finley delivers. That's high. Ball 1. Brandt is a .208 hitter with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. He's a senior from Talmadge. Breaking ball, and that caught the strike zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another breaking pitch. Missing high, 2-1.
You see the difference in those 2 breaking balls. On the second one, he got his hand underneath the ball a little bit, and it flattened out. The first one, he stayed on top of it, and it had good, tight spin, sharp breaking down through the strike zone.
2-1 pitch. That's a strike call. Home plate umpire Dave Onesco is giving the pitchers a high strike zone, Larry. He's giving them the benefit of the doubt of the letters.
Gotta love that.
2-2 delivery. That pitch was up, and he hits it well to left field. Going back on that ball is Rollinson, and it is gone. It's a home run. Brian Brandt for CSU puts the Vikings on the board as Finley was up high with that pitch, Larry.
It was the same type pitch, up around letter high. Brandt got the head out on it, drilled it into that wind.
That's kind of a crosswind coming, blowing toward right field, so he really can see that pitch is up right there.
That's the high breaking ball, similar to the second one that he threw to him. He left it up too high.
Sure did. Gave it a ride. By the way, the dimensions here at Gordon Park, down the lines, it's 330. In the power alleys, 365 and 380 to direct center. Third man in the order for Coach Arango is Julio Rodriguez, their third baseman. Change of pace, and he went waving at that one.
That's a good pitch. He likes to turn that changeup over a little bit. You see the movement running away from the right-hander. That's a great pitch.
Rodriguez, a very effective offensive player for Coach Arango, hitting over 400. Third baseman with an open stance. 0-2 delivery. That misses away. Major league dimensions here, except for center field.
Yeah, they never make these ballparks big enough.
That's in tight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the first inning. It's Akron 2 and Cleveland State 1. A solo shot home run in the bottom of the first by Brian Brandt, the CSU right fielder. Another breaking pitch fouled at the plate. Finley throwing a lot of junk, Larry.
You can see the difference in the 2 breaking balls when he stays on top of it. That ball has good bite going straight down. The home run pitch and the curveball before it, he got underneath and it was just a flat breaking ball. They end up being satellites.
That's down low. Full count. Rodriguez is a freshman. He's versatile. He can play the shortstop position as well as third, which is where he's at today. He is from Puerto Rico. Fernando has recruited quite a bit out of Puerto Rico. Of course, Fernando himself was born in Cuba, came here to school, and stayed in the United States. There's a ball toward the hole and short. Hagee fields it cleanly, but he had no play. So an infield single for Julio Rodriguez.
Again, you can see the infield just a little bit sandy. There's the fastball still up a little bit. Hagee goes back in the hole. You see his foot slide a little. No play at first.
Cleanup man, Matt McCourt. Up there now for CSU. One on, one out, one in. Strike call. Burley youngster hitting at .217 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He's a senior. Finley delivers. Breaking pitch bouncing in, and a good stop there by Hedmansky. 1-1. By the way, if catchers in college ball reach base, they have designated runners for them.
The idea being to move the game along.
Bounces in, another good stop by Hedmansky. Got to watch himself with all these breaking pitches that Finley is delivering. Heck, if he doesn't have good control, Hedmansky's got his work cut out for him. 2-1 pitch. That fouled at the plate, and the count goes even. Matt McCourt from North Ridgeville has earned 2 letters at CSU. Power hitter.
6'2", 230. He should be a power hitter.
Pitch to him, strike is called, and he's out of there with the bat on his shoulder. Good pitch. He was fooled by it.
He was fooled by it. The ball was up a little bit, too. I think McCourt thought it was too high.
Looked pretty good to me.
Bell tie, got to be a strike.
That's 2 outs. Brings up first baseman Mike Wintersteller. Left-hand swinger with a .429 batting average and 7 RBIs. Pitch to him, breaking ball, and that's off the end of the bat. Spinning foul. Fernando doesn't run his team much. As we've mentioned, he depends on his sticks. More of a base-to-base team with their power. Wintersteller laying off that pitch, and the count goes even.
There you saw Finley drop down a little bit, come in with a sidearm breaking ball. Wintersteller's a big kid, too. He's 6'5", 210.
He's a senior from Menor. He's earned 3 letters at CSU. Goes after a high fastball and hits a sky-high foul ball, and right there at the line, making the grab is McGuire to retire the side. So that's it for CSU in the first. They score a run on a couple of base hits. A home run by Brandt. At the end of 1, it's Akron 2 and CSU 1. University baseball. 2-1, Akron scoring a pair in their half of the first, and a solo shot home run by Brian Brandt to left in the bottom of the first inning, counting for the CSU run. Paul Simmer, Dave Hudson, and Bill Hagee to get things going in the second inning for Akron. Simmer, the first baseman. And the pitch to him, a called strike. That's a beauty. He's in the hole, 0-2. Simmer hitting at 171 in the air. And he flies this one harmlessly to right. Brandt is there and makes a one-handed grab. One gone. Now the DH, Dave Hudson. A .259 hitter. He scored 5 runs on here, 4 RBIs. Check it, Bill Hagee at the plate. Beg your pardon, Hudson leading off the inning. Flying to right. 2 balls, no strikes the count. As I mentioned, they use the DH in college ball. Also, here's an interesting twist. When college teams schedule twin bills, they play 7-inning games. Solo games, like this one, are 9-inning affairs. 2 balls and a strike. 3-1. Hagee hitting at .236. And he earns the base on balls. First walk given up by Adams. Boy, he sports a real good ERA of 2.19.
But oddly enough, he has 17 walks in only 24 2/3 innings.
You're the expert. He's got good form, though, Larry. Follows through nicely. It's a big kid. Here's Kashak. He's a .306 hitter with 9 RBIs on the season. Left-handed hitter, center fielder for Akron. And he's hit by that pitch. He's all right, but of course, Akron in business again with runners at first and second and only 1 man gone.
That was a breaking ball that didn't. It started to turn around and never really got untracked. Ooh, right on the elbow. That hurt.
Looked over there by first base coach Scott Hogue.
The only time in my career I ever got hit by a pitch, and I got hit right on the elbow by Warren Brewster of the Phillies at the time. It's a good reason not to be a hitter.
Both these schools have produced players that have signed contracts with big league organizations. The only individual that has made it to the big leagues from these programs is Burt Beck, your old buddy from Milwaukee. Top of the order, and Rollison looks at 1 down low. Rollison led off the ball game with a single, and he later scored in the inning. 2-1 Akron. Home plate umpire is Dave Onetsko, rearranging his mask. The 1-0 pitch. That's a good one. Breaking ball. Caught the inside corner. 1-1. Adams is a senior. He missed most of the '88 season after injuring his arm during CSU's annual Southern trip. Came back last year to start 3 games on the hill, splitting 2 decisions. 2 balls and a strike. He played some first base for CSU, and he also has served as DH. 2-1 pitch. That's high. 3-1, and Adams kind of digging a hole for himself here in the second inning. Thrown a lot of pitches already, Larry.
Well, he has, and he's not following through right now. You'll see that's why the ball ends up high and away from the right-hander a lot of time, because he's not pulling through, throwing through to the catcher. He's got to finish up, bend over a little bit more at the waist, concentrating, putting his hand in the catcher's glove.
3 balls, a strike. There goes the runners as Frost was sending them, and that pitch misses low, so now Akron's really in business. Rollison draws the walk. It loads the bases for Mike McGuire. McGuire in the first inning rounded out the second. He's 0 for 1. There's one gone. We're in the top of the second. That's high, ball 1. Adams really struggling now. Pitch. And fouled out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mentioned that the only big leaguer produced out of the program was Birkbeck. That's not correct. Jerry Dibzinski went to CSU.
The Dibber.
The Dibber.
21. He could pick it.
Yeah. The Indians. Then he went to Chicago. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a beauty. Right at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Adams goes ahead of Mike McGuire, the Akron third baseman. Kuchenmeister is warming up for CSU. Eric, a right-hander. And strike 3 called. McGuire caught with the bat on his shoulder. That's just what Adams needed to help his cause. That's the second out of the inning.
And with 1 out and the bases loaded, you've got to swing the bat. There's no reason to take a called third strike.
That's a big out for Jim Adams, the CSU lefty. Brings up Jeff Fisher, the second baseman, who singled to left in the first inning. Ball 1.
Finley's been a little wild, but he hasn't been all over the place. He hasn't been missing by that much.
2 walks and a hit batsman in this inning. Adams struggling. That's a strike call. 1-1. 1-1 pitch. 2 balls. Strike. Adams was the winning pitcher in the Vikings' last no-hit game against Mercyhurst College in April of 1987, pitching the first 4 innings of a 7-inning, 8-0 triumph. 1-1 delivery is a high chopper. Adams has got it, throws to third, and that runner is out to retire the side. Boy, a heads-up play by Adams to get himself out of a heck of a pickle. There's no runs scored in the second inning. That could have been a lot worse. No hits. We've completed 1.5 in the 2, and Cleveland State 1. Sports Channel Ohio is the cable home of the Cleveland Indians, friends. On Wednesday, April the 25th at 7:30, the Tribe travels to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Cleveland Indians baseball live on Sports Channel Ohio. Some of the brave fans here at Gordon Park on the east side of Cleveland. It's a sunny day, however, it's breezy. Temperature anticipated to be in the low 50s, to reach a high of the low 50s. Leading off is center fielder Chris Zunich. He'll be followed by Steve Horley, the DH, and then A.J. Shubik. Breaking ball and hard hit, but foul down the third base line. No balls, 2 strikes.
That's still a better breaking ball from Finley, though. You see it has a good downward movement that he wants. He left a little bit over the middle of the plate, but that's the type of action that he wants on the ball.
He allowed only 21 earned runs for a respectable 3.42 ERA in his freshman campaign. Zunich stepping out. 2-1 Akron. 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He's out of there. Good cut. That's the 3rd strikeout recorded by Finley.
This is a fastball pretty much right down the middle. The thing that Finley did to set this pitch up was he stepped off the rubber, shook his head like he was going to change signs. It might have caused a little bit of confusion for Zunich.
Here's Horley, the DH. Looks at a ball, low and away. Steve Horley. No home runs, nor RBIs, struggling at the plate.
Sometimes during the course of a game, you'll see a catcher shake his head, telling his pitcher to shake the sign off.
Swung on and missed. 1-1.
That's a good changeup again with the good movement away from the right-hander.
Horley's only a freshman. He's from Brunswick. 6'6", 205. Figures to be the first baseman of the future for Coach Arango. Swings and misses at one that was appeared to be outside. 1-2. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Akron 2 and Cleveland State 1. Akron let an excellent scoring opportunity slide away in the top half of this frame. That's a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. Counts ball. Fernando Arango, the coach of Cleveland State, in his 12th year. That bounces in, and Horley draws the walk. That's the first walk given up by Finley. So the Vikings with a base runner.
Kind of an interesting pitch selection there. He's 3-2 on the 7th hitter in the lineup, who's hitting 0.91, and he threw a breaking ball, 3-2.
Got confidence in that pitch.
Evidently today he thinks he can throw it for a strike.
But you guys on the hill, you go with what's working best today. You may have a good fastball, and your curve may be off, or your slider may be on. Whatever's working best, huh, Larry?
But then there's the days when none of them are working, and you usually find yourself in the kind of trouble that Adams was last inning.
You had a few of those, too.
1 or 2. Thanks, Bruce.
Got a shot of Fernando there as a throw over to first base. Checks the base runner, Steve Horley. A.J. Shubik, the hitter.
So you called some of those games in Cleveland when I was here in '82, didn't you?
There's a strike call. I sure did. You kept it low. That was the key to your success in the big leagues. You always kept it down around the knees. When you got up is when you got in trouble.
That's the key to success in any league.
From the stretch and the pitch. Good. Breaking quality. He's changing speeds very effectively.
When you don't have the good fastball and you can't blow it by people, the idea is to fool them, to get them off their balance, get them a little bit out in front. So with the average fastball, you have to change speeds. We call it going back and forth. You either pitch inside and outside, in and out, or you pitch back and forth.
The pitch. High and in tight. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There you see Finley drop down again. So he'll try just about everything.
There's a chopper towards short, coming in quickly, and Hagee on the run. He throws, and that man is out at first base on a very close play. Horley advances into scoring position at second, but a fine play by Hagee, the Akron shortstop. And now Fernando is questioning the call from Tom Cowley, who originally signaled the man was safe and then changed his call. I believe he made the proper call. He appeared like the guy was out at first, but he originally signaled that the runner was safe.
He made the right call, though. The man's got to be out. Hagee had a little trouble getting the ball out of his glove, made that play a little bit closer than it should have. He took 2 or 3 extra steps trying to pull the ball out of his glove.
It brings up the left fielder, Pat Campbell. Stands up there with a .200 batting average, no home runs, and 1 RBI. He has an opportunity to tie the game with a runner in scoring position. There's a well-hit ball, left center field, and that ball's in. He gets the RBI, and the ball game will be tied. There's a throw to second. He's safe at second base. Heads-up base running as well by Campbell with the RBI double. It's a 2-2 ball game.
That's a fastball that stays up a little bit on the inside of the hat of the plate. You see the center fielder, Keshak, try to barehand the ball and gave the extra split second. Ooh, close play at second base.
Very
Campbell
close.
safe.
Gutsy base running by Campbell, and now he gives Cleveland State an opportunity here to grab the lead in the game. Leadoff man Don Wallensack is up there, and he looks at the ball low. Wallensack, in his first trip, struck out in the first inning.
That ball kind of bounced back a little bit on Kashak, so he had to try to barehand it. Couldn't come up with it cleanly. Otherwise, he's probably out at second.
1-0 pitch. Strike is called. Don Wallensack. He's a sophomore from Oregon, Ohio. He has earned a letter. Hetmansky taking a trip out, talking with his pitcher, settle him down a little bit. Wallensack, the second baseman, had a dismal batting average last year in his freshman campaign. He's quick. He's an aggressive young athlete. He hit .414 as a senior at Clay High School. There's a ground ball towards short. Hakey's got it in the throw. Retires Wallensack. Well, that's it for Cleveland State in the second inning, but they tie up the ball game on a run on one base hit. At the end of two is Cleveland State 2 and Akron 2. Okay, the ball game moving into the third inning now. Fisher, Gaskins, and Hetmansky for the Akron Zips. 2-2 our score. Both clubs with 3 base hits. Fisher singled and scored in the first inning for Akron. They tallied for 2 themselves in the first. CSU got a solo run on a solo shot home run by Brian Brandt in the first inning, and then tallied for the run in the bottom of the second to tie the game. At the ball. Down low. 2 balls, no strikes. That's up high as Adams struggling now and falls behind 3 balls and no strikes. Jim Adams earned all Ohio honors at Garfield Heights Trinity High. There's a strike called. That was in 1986. He hit .510, had 8 homers as a first baseman and as a pitcher. He's majoring in marketing at CSU. He's a senior. And that's ball 4. So Akron with a base runner. That is the second walk given up by Adams, and the leadoff man reaches base for Akron, and it brings up Ed Hetmansky.
First, you really have to give these kids a lot of credit to carry a full workload in the classroom and still participate in college baseball. Pro baseball's not in the future for too many of these guys.
Hetmansky indicating he wanted a bunt, pulled the bat back, and a missed blow. Ball 1. This is what Frost likes to do. Manufacture runs, get runners into scoring position any way he can, and then hope for the clutch single or double. They are not a power hitting team. Again, he squares, pulls the bat back, the runner going, and the throw is late. A stolen base for right fielder Chris Gaskins. So Akron with a runner in scoring position.
That's a fake bunt and steal, and it looked like the runner was going on first movement. A lot of the times you'll see him as soon as the pitcher kicks his leg, he goes. If he gets picked off, he gets picked off.
See, that throw's way late. Good jump by Gaskins, who led off the inning with a walk. There's a well-hit ball to left field. Backing up on it is Campbell, who makes the catch. And the runner holding at second base. So that's the first out of the inning. Hedmetsky giving it a pretty good ride. Chris Gaskins, the right fielder, now with 4 stolen bases in 5 attempts. Paul Simmer, the first baseman, stepping in there. He's from Youngstown. A sophomore. Ground ball up the middle, and a great stop by Schubeck. The throw, he's out at first base. Beautiful play by Schubeck of Cleveland State. That ball had eyes. What may have benefited him, Larry, is that ball caromed off of the mound and gave him a nice hop that he could field cleanly.
You're absolutely right, Bruce. The ball came up a little bit. Schubeck makes a nice scooping sweep, picks the ball out of his glove again, takes an extra step, throws across his body. You see, oh yeah, you see that he did get his foot back in time.
That's the second out of the inning with Gaskins advancing over to third. That ball was slowed down just enough after hitting the mound that allowed Schubeck to get over there and make the play.
And
beautiful play.
Wintersteller had a little trouble with his footwork over at first base, and Dave Frost was out arguing about the play, but you saw that he did get his foot back in time.
Leaves it up to Dave Hudson, the DH, who flew to right in his only trip. At the ball, high and away. We're in the third, 2-2, Akron and Cleveland State.
That's a heck of a play to save a run by Schubeck.
Especially if they get out of this inning with no harm done. That's outside.
But the old axiom is, with a runner on second base and less than 2 outs, you've got to knock the ball down somehow in the infield. You can't let it get through so the runner can score. Schubeck made a big scoop, turned it into a great play.
The pitch swung on and fouled harmlessly. 2 balls and a strike.
Bruce, you saw that ball hit the screen behind home plate. Because of our position here with other diamonds behind us, there is a screen that extends almost all the way to home plate. So really, there cannot be a pop-up to the catcher unless it drifts out into the infield. If it goes straight up or a little bit back, it hits the screen.
There you get a good shot of it. There's the pitch. And that's a fly ball, very high center field. Zunich is there, and he makes the grab, and no harm done. Credit Schubeck with a great play to help CSU's cause of getting out of the inning. We've completed 2.5, and the score remains Cleveland State 2 and Akron 2. In this college game between Cleveland State and Akron University, this is first of several local college telecasts we're going to be bringing your way on Sports Channel Ohio, featuring mostly Cleveland State and Akron, although later on our schedule we have Kent State scheduled. Also, we have Baldwin-Wallace, Youngstown State, going to see the Cincinnati Bearcats, and University of Illinois Chicago campus. We go to the bottom of the third inning, and Brian Brandt leading things off, fouls that first pitch to him. Brandt hit a solo shot home run in the first inning to narrow the gap at that time after Akron had grabbed a 2-0 lead in the top half of the first. Brandt, right-handed hitting, right fielder. Big ball and a beauty. 0-2 the count. Andy Findley, the sophomore left-hander for Akron out there today. He was a first-team All-Federal League and All-Stark County selection. 0-2 pitch. 1-2. He captained the Blue Streaks, grabbing MVP honors in his final 2 seasons of competition. One-two pitch. Ground ball towards short. Coming in a hurry is Hagee. And he plays the play. Brandt is out of there. There's Hagee.
See Hagee charging in. One thing we should point out, there's a little bit of a lip on this field, both around the infield grass and onto the outfield grass. We'll see if that comes into play later.
You know, the field is in good condition considering the weather that we had yesterday in the Cleveland area. It was snowing. Here's Rodriguez, who hits a high pop, and that's out of play. Foul back, 0-1. Julio Rodriguez, the third baseman for Coach Arango, had an infield single in his only trip in the first inning.
I drove over from Detroit today, Bruce. There was still some snow on the ground on the way over. As a matter of fact, I called from the car on the way and had my wife call to see if they were going to play this game.
I'm rather surprised this field actually, like you say, it's got some rough spots, but it's to be expected. I'm surprised that it's in good enough shape that we are playing. Rodriguez is a freshman from Puerto Rico. That's the ball, high and away, 1-1.
Before the game, we saw Fernando Arango doing his duties, cleaning the field up, working on the field. It looked like his pitching staff got the brooms out, and they were working to clean it up a little bit.
Everybody contributes in the college program. That's fouled. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rodriguez. Nobody on, 1 gone. We're in the bottom of the third in a 2-2 game. Rodriguez, as I mentioned, from Puerto Rico, may be the best of several talented Puerto Rican players who have found their way to Cleveland State in recent years. Did well in the Vikings' January trip to Florida. Got some power. Good batting eye. 1-2 pitch. And that's ball back. Julio Rodriguez. Played third base, mostly. Hand-see duty at short. That pitch is up, and it's been pretty deep to center field. Going way back is Kashak, and he can't make the play as Rodriguez pulls up standing at second base. That was a very well-hit ball by Rodriguez. He hit it to the deepest portion of the park. Kashak with a problem, losing it in the sun and the high sky.
We've seen a couple guys today battling that sun, putting their glove up, trying to get it into the sun to try to block it out. There's also no depth perception with the sky the way it is today. Usually you like to have clouds so that you have a little bit of perception of what the ball is doing. No clouds overhead makes it much more difficult for an outfielder to pick up the ball.
Brings up McCourt, who swings at that breaking pitch. 0-1. I believe they got to rule that a double. He didn't touch the ball.
I vote for the team error in that situation. That's a tough double for a pitcher to give up.
I wonder why you take that viewpoint. No balls, 2 strikes, the count on McCourt. McCourt, the catcher, was caught looking at his only trip in the first inning. 1 on, 1 out. McCourt with an opportunity to give the Vikings the lead. Looks at a ball, low and away. 1-2. Finley's pitch. Hard hit ground ball in the hole, and a diving attempt by the third baseman, McGuire, and knocks it down and prevents it from going into left, which may help Akron prevent a run, but nonetheless, it's an infield single for McCourt. Runner holding at second base.
The other thing that helped Akron there is that the ball was in front of the runner. Whenever the ball is hit in front of you, where you can see, you have to hold up. The rule is, if it's in front, you hold. If it's behind you, you break towards third.
That's the 5th hit for Cleveland State off Finley. As the Akron team now has to regroup a little bit. That's Coach Frost, 17 years at Akron. He has a 448 and 340 record coming into the season. Out of Malone College, Dave Frost. He's produced some fine teams. He began his coaching career at Lake High School. Mike Wintersteller looks at a ball. The CSU first baseman popped to third in his only trip. Pitch. Waves in that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. It was actually out of the strike zone, so Winter Stellar helped Finley that time.
That's a good off-speed breaking ball from Finley. Took just enough off to get Winter Stellar out in front.
Another breaking pitch. That just missed. 2-1. Runners at first and second. 1 man gone. We're in the bottom of the third in the tie game.
Looking for the pitcher's best friend here, that double play ball.
Right, he's got to keep it down. 2-1 delivery, and that misses away. 3 balls and 1 strike. What he can ill afford to do now is walk this guy.
You don't want to lose the left-hander. Generally, a left-hander facing a left-hander has a little bit more trouble. And we've got Zurich from the right side on deck.
3-1 pitch. Swung on, and right back at the pitcher to second for 1. The relay, double play. They're out of the inning. A 1-6-3 double play, and Finley escapes. We've completed 3 at Gordon Park, and the score remains Cleveland State 2 and Akron 2. We will pause now for a local break. To Sports Channel Ohio for the best in college baseball on Saturday, April the 21st at 5 p.m. These 2 teams will battle again, this time at Akron's home field. That's Cleveland State University against the University of Akron, only on Sports Channel Ohio. Good to have you aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Bruce Drenner, along with former Indian right-hander and American League All-Star Larry Sorensen. We're coming your way from Gordon Park on the east side of Cleveland. Cleveland State's home field. The Vikings and the Zip battling away in a 2-2 tie as the ball game enters the 4th inning. Leading things off is Hagee, the shortstop. He'll be followed by Kashak, and then the top of the order, Rollison. Strike called, 1-1.
You keep saying Cleveland right-hander. I guess there isn't enough time to get all my other teams in, huh?
You were with a few. Heck, now, you were with of course, Milwaukee's who you made the All-Star team with. You were with the National League, the Cubs. You finished up your career with the Giants. That's a ball.
Well, I hit Montreal and the Cardinals also in the National League.
Yeah, I remember when you were with the Cardinals, sure. How'd you like playing at that heat at Bush Memorial?
It was easy to get loose. 10, 15 pitches and go get them.
That's down low. 3 balls and a strike. Jim Adams, the strong lefty for Cleveland State on the hill. Hagee, in his only trip, walked. Three-one pitch. Swung on, ground ball toward second. Wallensack has got it cleanly and fires over to first. 1 gone.
Hagee hit that one off the end of the bat a little bit. He was kind of flexing his hands on the way back to the dugout. That one might have stung.
George Kashak, center fielder, batting in the 9th position for Coach Dave Frost. He was hit by a pitch in his only trip to the plate. Had a notion, but held back, and it's a ball. Akron, 2 runs on 3 base hits. Cleveland State, a couple of runs on 5 hits. Adams has walked a pair. He struck out 2. 1-0 pitch. That's a strike call. See, there again, Larry, an example of home plate umpire Dave Modesto giving the pitchers the benefit of the doubt on that high call.
Well, technically, the strike zone is from the bottom of the letters to the knees. You very rarely get that pitch above the belt line, though.
Here's another one. Boy, he is giving the benefit of the doubt to the pitchers on those deliveries of the letters. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See, it shouldn't even be the benefit of the doubt, though, and I once saw an American League umpire on national television say that anything above the waistline is not a strike.
That ball's well hit. Short. I was deceived looking through the screen. Actually, it turned out to be short left center and coming in to make the play for CSU is Zunich. So that's the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down, and now the top of the order, Jeff Rollison. Yeah, you know, you watch the major leagues. And heck, it's It's amazing some of the low pitches that are called as strikes. It seems like they're below the knees looking in from the center field camera. That's a ball high.
Well, they've really narrowed the strike zone down. If you take it just from the waist to the knees, and it's 17 inches across the plate, that's exactly the area. If you were to give a hitter a batting tee and say, where would you like the ball, and put it on the tee, he'd put it where they make the strike zone now.
Well, Onesco's giving these pitchers the high strike, but those last two deliveries by Adams just too high. That's in there, 2-1. 48 teams participate in the NCAA tournament. The AMCU does not have an automatic bid into the tournament. They must be invited. Southwest Missouri has the best track record in the conference as far as tournament competition and invites. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 divisions in the AMCU, both Akron and CSU in the blue division. That's foul. And the count holds. We're in the 4th. Jim Adams, Fernando's starter today. His Viking team, Fernando's Viking teams have enjoyed only 3 winning seasons, 2 in the past 3 years. It's a hard hit ball, but foul down the first base line. The Vikings have advanced to the AMCU tournament in 4 of the 5 seasons since the conference began divisional play in 1985. Twice in that period, the Vikings have won blue division titles. That pitch was up and a high fly to right center, and again that ball being lost in the sun. The center fielder Zunich couldn't make the play. The throw to third bounces off of the runner Rollison, so he's in there safely with a triple. That ball actually drifted farther away from Zunich, and France was the guy that was closer to it. Zunich is having a problem, the outfielders in general having a problem with this high sky.
We talked a little bit before the game with Dave Frost and Fernando Arango, and both of them said they'd had trouble with fundamentals with both of their clubs. And that's just a fundamental, Bruce. Your outfielder has to get enough balls up into the sun to work on being able to make that play.
Brings up Mike McGuire, the third baseman, 0 for 2 thus far, and an opportunity to give his team the lead. He swings and hits a little tapper down the third base line, and it's fouled. Rodriguez made sure that it stayed fouled.
Another tough break for Cleveland State. Shubik made a good throw to third, but it hit the runner. Rollison sliding into third. There might have been a close play at third base.
I think the throw beats him. Jim Adams. That's a little high. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 men gone. Runner at third is Jeff Rollison for Akron. As you look at Mike McGuire, the third baseman. There's a well-hit ball to left center field. On his horse is Zunich. He won't get to it. That bounces in for extra bases as Akron grabs the lead. A stand-up 2-bagger for Mike McGuire, and Akron has regained the lead. It's now a 3-2 ball game.
For some reason, Cleveland State was playing McGuire a little bit over to right field. Zunich evidently thought they were going to pitch him away, but the ball came in. I don't think that he'd have had a play in left center anyway, because McGuire really tagged that ball, hit at the base of the fence.
Here's a look at it again. Right over the heart of the plate. He gave this a good ride. See, Zunich on his horse couldn't get anywhere near it.
He had a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, he was shading toward right center, as you mentioned. So the Zips regain the lead. 3-2 now, Akron. Standing in there is Jeff Fisher. Action in the Cleveland State bullpen.
That's Kutchenmeister again, number 19, I believe.
A 2-out rally here for Akron. Little chopper down the third base line. Coming in, Rodriguez. He throws, and he gets his man on a close play at first to retire the side. But in the fourth for the Zips, they regained the lead by scoring a run on 2 base hits. We've completed 3.5 in the score. Akron 3 and Cleveland State 2. Cleveland State. Andy Finley, sophomore left-hander, throwing for the Zips this afternoon. Here's Zunich, the center fielder, struck out leading off the second inning in his only trip. Good pitch, strike is called, outside corner. Andy Finley from Mogador.
20 years old. You know, you forget how young some of these kids are till you get down there and walk around them. Some of them are looking pretty much like they're just out of the cradle.
That's a ball outside. Of course, aluminum bats are used in college ball for economic purposes. These kids would be breaking wooden bats like crazy and putting these programs out of business. 1-1 pitch is popped up, and that's drifting foul. Out of play. 1-2. It's an adjustment, Larry. There's no question. These kids that go on to perhaps sign a contract with a big league team do have an adjustment with those going back to wood.
It really is a big change for them. I think the biggest difference is for the pitchers because it makes them throw a different kind of ball game. Nobody in college baseball pitches inside anymore. They're all afraid that they're going to give up the jam shot.
There's a line drive to left, but right at Rollison, who makes the grab. One gone. Well hit, but right at him. Zunich is out of there. Go ahead.
When you talk to the coaches, they'll tell you that a lot of guys will go to their breaking ball more in a lot different situations because they're just afraid to get hurt with that fastball that they make a good pitch on, but he hits it off the end of the bat or he hits it off his hands, and the aluminum gives him enough juice to dink it into the outfield.
You can get around with those aluminum bats a lot faster. A lot more bat speed. There's one that bounces in. Steve Horley, the DH, walked and scored in the second inning.
They say that studies show that the ball doesn't really carry any further coming off the aluminum bats, but I saw Keith Moreland and Jody Davis in Wrigley Field one time put on a display you could not believe with an aluminum bat.
There's a ground ball in the hole, and the shortstop, Hagee, with a long throw, can't get him. Tough play, even for a big leaguer, but Hagee, who plays a good shortstop, went into the hole after the third baseman, McGuire, couldn't cut it off. He was unable to get the runner.
McGuire may have blocked his view a little bit. You see Hagee deep in the outfield grass. Really probably had no business throwing that ball because he didn't have a play. Luckily, Hetmansky is hustling down the line to back the play up. So the runner Horley isn't able to advance.
McGuire's got to cut that ball off. Looked like he was there in time, too. He just couldn't glove it. CSU has the potential tying run on base with one man gone at the bottom of the fourth. A.J. Shubik now. Foul that one.
Well, Horley doesn't run particularly well. McGuire might have had time to dive for that ball and still jump back to his feet and make that play.
That's the sixth hit off Finley. Shubik, the shortstop, grounded to third in his only trip. 0 for 1. There's a bunt. That's a good one. Tough play for Finley. He spins and fires and gets his man. Nice play by Finley. He hustled off that mound in a hurry and gets Shubik, who successfully sacrifices Horley to second base, and a runner in scoring position for CSU. They've got a duck on the pond.
You see the breaking ball down low, which is a good pitch to bunt. Shubik gets it down, and Finley hustles over, makes a throw. You see a good play by Simmer, too, reaching into the runner right by his head to pull the ball in. Ordinarily, you want to try to keep that ball on the infield side so that there's no confusion with the runner. Simmer made a good play.
Yeah, he did. Finley had to have a little gas on that throw over to first to get his man, too. It brings up Pet Campbell, the left fielder. There's 2 men gone now, runner in scoring position, and he swings at the first offering and fouls it back. We're in the fourth. Breaking ball way outside. side. 1-1.
Cleveland State's been having some trouble scoring runs, too. You see them going to a sacrifice with the bottom part of their lineup up with Schubik. Ordinarily, they like to try to slug it out with you, tee it up, try to use some power.
Saw Fernando Arango, the head coach at Cleveland State, in his 12th year at CSU. Graduate of the University of Iowa in 1971. There's a ground ball towards short. Hagee finds the handle, fires nowhere near in time. The inning stays alive for Cleveland State on the bobble by Hagee. That's got to be an error.
I think Hagee may have been bothered a little bit by the runner breaking, and in fact, if he had picked up the ball, he might have had a chance to make a play at third base on Horley. You see Horley jumping over. There might have been time to make the play, but he took his eye off, tries to throw to first, no chance.
What is the school of thought for big league infielders when that situation occurs, Larry? Obviously, in the big leagues, they have it down to a science trying to distract or disconcert the fielder. But what's the school of thought defensively there?
Well, as we said before, the rule of thumb for the runner is if the ball is in front of you, you don't go. It's a judgment call, and it's a tough play for the runner. If you've got time, you try to make that quick throw, always getting that lead runner.
That's high. Don Wallensack, the second baseman, 0 for 2. Go ahead.
And that really bails out your pitcher, too, because now all of a sudden, if you make that play at third, you've got, you're out of the inning.
2 on, 2 out. That bounces in. Good stop by Hedmensky. 2 balls, no strikes.
You saw Horley just took a little jump step as he passed by in front of Hagee. Might have been enough to distract him.
2-0 pitch. Strike is called. Finley needed a strike there.
Dave Frost is impressed with the composure of Andy Finley.
The 2-1 offering, runner taking off, throw down to second, cut off, runner coming in from third. He is out at home. Trying to score from third was Horley, but good defensive effort there by Akron gets them out of the inning with no harm done. No runs, 1 hit, there was an error, and 1 man left. We now will pause for a local break. Of Cleveland State University, the University of Akron, and Sports Channel Ohio, and is intended for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cleveland State University and the University of Akron and Sports Channel Ohio is prohibited. The ball game moves to the 5th inning. Akron sending Gaskins, Hedmansky, and Sinnemer up there. Beat of the batting order for Coach Frost. 3-2 Akron. There's a line drive to center and a base hit. A well-hit ball by Gaskins. His first base hit of the game. The 6th Akron hit. A leadoff single. Gaskins now 1 for 2 officially. Brings up the catcher, Ed Hedmensky. 1 for 2. He singled in the first inning and flied out to left in the third. Adams with a move and certainly keeping Gaskins honest. High pop, should be an easy out. First baseman, Wintersteller, calling for it and making the play. 1 gone.
Little confusion in the infield. Walensek, the second baseman, had trouble picking that ball up. Again, he's got a different angle.
Oh, now the runner dangling between first and second, forced to play, and he will be awarded third base. Cleveland State caught off guard there, and there's something you don't necessarily see in the big leagues, but a momentary lapse by the Cleveland State defense, and Akron taking advantage. It's Gaskins advancing to third.
Cleveland State put their head down in the middle of the infield, and alertly, Gaskins made an effort to go to second base, and by the time they recovered, Adams had the ball and tried to flip over to Wintersteller. At first, it bounced off Wintersteller's glove, and then went into some of the debris or something on the right side of the field by the fence, and they awarded Gaskins third. Ordinarily, you'll see guys call timeout right away after they make that catch.
Got a shot at a fellow who wasn't too pleased at what he saw. Coach Arango upset now as Akron, already with a 3-2 lead, has a chance to add to that. Runner on third with one man gone. Paul Zimmer, the first baseman up there. He's 0 for 2. Strike is called. Jim Adams. Zimmer taking a look at Coach Frost with one man gone and a runner on third. Bounces in. However, McCourt kept it in front of him fundamentally, and the runner unable to advance.
You saw Adams blowing on his hand while he was standing on the rubber. Ordinarily, you're not allowed to do that. You have to be off the dirt onto the grass part of the infield, but because of the weather, they're allowing the pitchers to blow on their hands.
2-1 pitch. That's high and away. 3-1. Beautiful sunny skies, but the temperature certainly could be a lot warmer. We anticipated high this afternoon, the low 50s. I don't think it has reached that, though. With this breeze coming off of Lake Erie, it seems a lot colder than that. 3-1 pitch. Swung on, ground first. The runner holding at third, and an unassisted putout made by Wintersteller. That's 2 gone. Brings up Hudson, the DH. Dave Hudson. Flied to right, flied to center. Take more in a deep fly ball to score that runner now. That's a little low, ball 1.
Looks like Adams is starting to get a little bit frustrated with the strike zone. During the sequence to Zimmer, his last hitter, he thought that one of the pitches that was a little high was a strike. You saw him shrug his shoulders a little there. He wanted that pitch.
He's walked 2 and he struck out 2. Hard hit ground ball in the hole. Backhanded stop by Schubeck. Wrong throw. He just missed man at first out of very close play. They're out of the inning. Wow. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. We've completed 4.5 in the score. Akron 3 and Cleveland State 2. Moving into the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be the top of the order for Cleveland State. Wallensack, Brandt, and Rodriguez. Wallensack, the CSU second baseman, is 0 for 2. That's a ball high. These two teams play in the Association of Mid-Continent Universities. There's 2 divisions. The blue and the gray, both these clubs are in the blue division, along with University of Illinois Chicago campus at Valparaiso. Also in the gray division is University of Northern Iowa, Western Illinois, Eastern Illinois, and Southwest Missouri State. They're the power of the league. They conduct an annual postseason tournament. CSU under Arango, twice they have advanced to the tournament as the second-place team. That's a ball. 2-0. In 5 seasons, the AMCU has selected all tournament teams. The Vikings have had 5 players honored. There's a strike call. 2-1.
Nice distinctive ball strike call from Dave Onesco there, a little reminiscent of Dutch Renner.
That bounces in. 3-1. The most famous of the Arango pupils is Boston Red Sox right-hander Mike Boddicker, Larry, who learned his famous version of the split-fingered fastball, the Fosh ball. Arango's guidance. That's a ball. Wallensack leads off the CSU fifth with a walk. Second walk given up by Finley. Arango was serving as the assistant baseball coach at the University of Iowa from 76 through 78.
As a matter of fact, he surprised me when we walked into the ballpark. He was a coach there when I was finishing up in Michigan.
Right. Swung on and missed. Brian Brandt, who kissed a solo shot home run in the first inning. In the third, he led off that frame by grounding out to short. Breaking ball, bouncing in. He swings over it. The runner easily will advance into scoring position at second. That's a wild pitch. Nobody out. We're in the fifth. 3-2 Akron. Swung on and grounded to third on a good hop. McGuire makes the play. First out of the inning. Runner holding at second base and remaining in scoring position represents the tying run in the game. Here's Julio Rodriguez. 2 for 2 today, had an infield single in the first inning and doubled in the third. Out of the stretch, Finley delivers. Change up and well hit to left. On his horse is Rollinson near the fence. He makes the grab with the runner holding at second. That ball was tagged pretty well. 2 gone.
Not a bad breaking ball, but Rodriguez stayed with it and drilled it to left. As you said, Rollinson went a long way for that ball.
Well, the meat of the order for Rango, he does have some power. Rodriguez can give it a jolt. Here's McCourt, another guy who has some power. He was caught looking in the first inning. He got an infield single in the third. Swung on and missed, strike one. He went waving and went out of the strike zone there.
That's that good off-speed pitch again. He turns it over on the outside corner to those right-handers. McCourt had no chance.
McCourt, a senior. Stepping off the rubber. McCourt in high school at North Ridgeville High earned 5 letters in baseball and wrestling and was the team's MVP as a senior, majoring in psychology at CSU. Again, he goes after a bad one.
I'm impressed with the composure of Finley, Bruce. He walked the guy, threw a wild pitch, and he just kind of stepped back, regrouped, didn't get too upset, came right back at him. He's thrown a couple dandy pitches to McCourt.
Especially in a tight ball game like this.
He's only a sophomore.
No balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Oh, Finley thought he had him. So did the catcher, Hetmansky. But not Onesco, the home plate umpire.
I imagine if you asked McCourt, he'd probably say he thought he had him too.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. It bounced in. They'll have to throw him out at first. And they do so successfully to retire the side. We will pause now for a local break. We've completed 5 from Gordon Park and our Akron 3 and Cleveland State 2.
Than Sports Channel Ohio, designed to bring Ohio sports right into your living room. Down to the buzzer, right to the playoff action of the Cavs. the fast-pitching, power-hitting drive of the Indians, the start-to-finish magic of the crunch, the ongoing hard-driving competition of the Mid-American Conference, and the crowd-pleasing battles of Ohio high school sports. All there, all on one channel, the channel made for Ohio, Sports Channel Ohio. But sports coverage on your channel doesn't stop there. Sports Channel Ohio also brings you the best of the NHL and Notre Dame. All there, all on your channel. Sports Channel Ohio.
Right next to Lake Erie. As a result of being located so close to the lake, you get a lot of wind here. Today the wind is blowing, and it's blowing hard toward right field. This ball game now moves into the 6th inning. 3-2, Akron with the lead. Hagee, Kashak, and then the top of the order, Rollison.
Spring is in the air, though, Bruce. I'd have had the golf clubs out today if I wasn't down here.
Now, you're not known for a golf game, though. You were never known as one of those baseball-playing hustlers on the road.
I played at it.
You pitchers are the only ones, really, that in the major league. Most clubs allow 2 play. There's a ground ball to first. Winter Stellar will do it himself. One gone.
You know who won all the money on our pitching staff back in '82 and '83. Rick Sutcliffe was the hustler on that staff.
You know, Blyleven played a good game, too.
Well, he's a good player, and everybody knew it. So we always got strokes from him. Sutcliffe was the one that would lie and cheat to us.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's a good thing that John Denny was a good pitcher, because he sure was a lousy golfer. That's a ball outside. He's not here to defend himself. George Kashak. 0 for 1. He flied to center in the 4th inning and was hit by a pitch in the 2nd. 2-0. Kashak was the AMCU Player of the Week last week after hitting .467. Left-hand swinger, plays center field, and he looks at another ball. 3-0. Adams falling way behind.
He's also the only senior in this lineup today.
The Akron Zips of Coach Dave Frost. At the ball, high. 3 balls and a strike. Look at the Akron squad. Good ball game. That's down low. We lost him. A 1-out base on balls rendered by Adams. That's his 3rd walk, and it gives Akron a base runner. May see some action again in the Cleveland State bullpen. Adams has certainly thrown a lot of pitches as we're in the 6th inning.
Coach Frost said before the game Kashak would do just about anything to get on base. He was hit for the 7th time this year. Walks there. Doesn't swing a real strong bat, but he's hitting .306.
Rollison up there looks at a breaking ball and a called strike as Adams finds the range. Rollison today is 2 for 2 officially. Singled and scored in the 1st inning, tripled and scored in the 4th, and reached base on a walk in the 2nd inning.
Look for him to get something started here, too.
Pitch out, runner going, here's the throw! Oh, he's nailed by a mile. Good defense there by CSU as they read it a mile away and a perfect peg by McCourt.
Like I said, it was time to get something started. You see McCourt go out for the pitch out, makes the good throw to second base. Be interesting to find out if that pitch out was called from the dugout or not. Talking to both coaches before the game, they said they let their catchers handle most of the thinking behind the plate. No chance for Kashak.
That goes as a 2-4 put-out. Wallensack applied the tag, the second baseman. Mr. Rollison down low. 3 balls and a strike. Adams, a little disturbed in himself. Three-one pitch. That's high. Oh, a strike call. There's that hype. I shouldn't anticipate. Onesco, again, giving the benefit of the doubt to the pitchers with that high strike call. Full count. There's a line drive base hit to right. It gets by the right fielder, Brandt, which will allow Rollison to take the extra base. That's going to be an error, a single, and then an error on the right fielder, Brandt. It gives Akron an opportunity.
Good lesson for the youngsters out there to learn. You saw Rollison go hard from home to first on what was a sure base hit. A lot of times guys will Cadillac and just nonchalantly trot down to first. The ball got past Brandt in the outfield, and Rollison was able to make it to second easily.
Seventh hit for the Zips. There's a strike called. McGuire, the third baseman today, is 1 for 3. He doubled his last trip to the plate. Grounded to second. Got caught looking. One on, 2 outs. We're in the 6th inning. And the pitch. Swung on, fly ball, right field. Brandt has got it. And that retires the side. So his error did no harm. We've completed 5.5 at Gordon Park. The score remains Akron 3 and Cleveland State 2.
Up there elevated in the breeze, they've got the heavy parkas on.
Well, I'm petrified of heights, so let us stay nice and secure inside here in the friendly confines, if you will.
Plus, they had the gas heater going a little earlier.
Yeah, that came in handy. There's a foul ball line down the right field line as we enter the bottom of the 6th inning. Wintersteller, the first baseman, to be followed by Zunich, the center fielder, and then Horley, the DH. Akron with 3 runs on 7 base hits in the ball game, and CSU 2 runs on 6 hits. Mike Wintersteller waves at a breaking ball. He's in the hole, 0-2. Finley relies on that breaking pitch. It's a good curve, but as you mentioned, Larry, he changes speeds on it. See if he wastes one here. No, again, he had Wintersteller waving at 1, and on 3 pitches, the CSU first baseman goes down. 4th strikeout for Finley.
And Finley dropped down a little bit on that breaking ball. Came a little bit Laredo, as they call it.
1 gone. It brings up Zunich, the center fielder. He's 0 for 2. He struck out leading off the 2nd inning, and he flied to left, line drive to left, leading off the 4th. Toward the hole, backhanded by Hagee. Oh, he gets his man. Hagee, the shortstop, with another fine play. That was Major League all the way. A couple times he's showing us some glittering defense.
The thing about that ball is that it came back a little bit on him also, so he had to reach back across his body, but he made a strong throw to first base.
There it is.
Deep in the hole.
Boy, I don't know about that call.
I do. He was safe.
Yeah, it appeared like it. Tom Cowley umpiring the base paths. Well, Akron gets a break there. Still, nonetheless, a very fine play by Hagee, but Fernando Arango couldn't like that call too much. His club is trailing 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Steve Horley up there now, the DH. Ball 1.
Well, Luis Martinez, coaching at first base, gave it just a little argument. He knows there's no point in going crazy over it because it's not going to change anything.
You've tried to change their opinion on occasion. I remember when you were playing in the big leagues. You weren't exactly shy speaking with umpires.
I was a little more vocal than Martinez was on that play.
But you really can't do that from a pitcher's standpoint because it breaks your concentration.
Exactly, and as we've talked about Finley, he's in a good groove now. There's no sense getting upset about a call, a ball, or a strike or anything because all it does is detract from your game.
This is a good ball game. Both these left-handers keeping their teams very much alive in this affair. Close, hard-fought 3-2 game thus far. There's a strike called.
Gotta love those pitchers' duels.
There you
Good
see
defense in this game, too. You know, Bruce?
Yes. The only problem has been the outfielders are having a little trouble with that high sky. They've lost a couple of balls. Hard hit ball toward Hagee again. He backhands it, makes the throw. No doubt about it this time. He gets his man. A 1-2-3 inning for Findlay, as we will now pause for a local break. Completed 6 innings of play from Gordon Park, and the score remains Akron 3 and Cleveland State Ball League for 23 seasons himself, receiving all-star honors 14 times. He told me he recruits heavily out of the Youngstown area. There you get a look at him. He's had a great program at Akron over the years. Strike is called. Last year, his team was 24 and 24. Coming into this ball game, the Zips are 8 and 13. Foul tip. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Coach Frost and I talked a little before the game. There's a movement underfoot among NCAA coaches to try to put back the season a little bit.
There's a ground ball towards short. Shubik. Clean lead and a good pickup at first by Wintersteller. Nice pick. 1 gone.
Getting back to the point about moving the season back, Coach Gene Stevenson of Wichita State made a proposal to the Coaches Association suggesting that they hold practice off until the beginning of February, move the season back, and keep the kids a little bit later so that it doesn't conflict with the basketball tournament, for example. Try to generate more interest for college baseball. Have the College World Series a little bit later in June.
Here's Gaskin. There's a strike called. Well, you know, Larry, it would be unfair because of geographics to allow the southern universities and colleges to play more games, even though the climate would allow them to do so. The northern colleges and universities, first of all, have problems recruiting-wise because of those weather conditions. What do they play? About 60 games, I believe the coaches told me. There's a grounder toward third. Clean pickup by Rodriguez, and he fires to first for the out. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, it's unfair for the northern teams. They go down to play the schools down south on their spring trip. For example, this year, Cleveland State went down and played Florida International, and they got beat up pretty badly while they were down there. They started the season off 0-4. At Michigan, we used to go down to Lakeland and stay in the Tigers minor league dormitory, and you played teams that had already played 20 or 30 games, and we were coming right out of the gymnasium to play.
Hetmansky looks at a strike. The Akron catcher is 1 for 3 today. We're in the 7th, 3-2 Akron. Strike call. Good breaking pitch to the outside corner.
The other thing the proposal would do is it would give the kids a chance to get that second semester started scholastically. They wouldn't have to worry about baseball from the first day of that second semester. So they could get their feet on the ground a little bit, get into their classes, and have things under control.
0-2 pitch. Wasted away. 1-2. I mentioned Frost recruits heavily out of the Youngstown area. Cleveland State, more diversified, as we've mentioned. He'll go down into Puerto Rico and recruit some kids. He's had great success down there. That's a ball. Count goes even. Rodriguez, third baseman for CSU, was out of Puerto Rico. I just returned there, and my wife and I were on a vacation, and everywhere you look in Puerto Rico, there's ball fields all over the place. That's foul. And the count will hold.
The national pastime. I wonder how long it'll be before we have a truly international World Series.
You know, looking at the Cleveland State roster here, Lair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players from Puerto Rico.
Well, I asked Orango how he talks those kids into coming to Cleveland in this with this kind of weather from Puerto Rico, and he said they want that education at the good universities. A couple of his players played in a summer tournament near here.
2-2 pitch, ground ball right back at Adams. This will be an easy out and an easy inning for the Cleveland State left-hander. 1-2-3 in the 7th inning for Akron. We've completed 6.5. The score remains Akron 3 and Cleveland State 2. Ohio for the best in college baseball. On Saturday, April the 21st at 5 p.m., these two teams will battle again, this time at Akron's home field. That's Cleveland State University against the University of Akron, only on Sports Channel Ohio. Bottom of the 7th inning in a tough, tight 3-2 ball game. CSU will send Shubik, Campbell, and Wallensack, top of the order. A.J. Shubik, the shortstop, is 0 for 1. He grounded to third, and he laid down a sacrifice bunt. That was in the 4th inning. Right-hand hitter. Andy Finley delivers high and away, ball 1.
That's the 95th pitch of the game for Andy Finley. You have to wonder how long they'll let him go. It's still pretty early in the season, although these kids have been throwing for quite a while. Most of it has been indoors.
Both these lefties have thrown a lot of pitches. That one got away from him. 2 balls, no strikes. He loses this first hitter. You may see Frost get somebody working right away, Larry. Shubik is a junior. He had no intention of bunting. He just wanted to throw Finley off a little bit, and he succeeded. Count is 3-0. Shubik followed a so-so freshman season with a solid second year, hitting .282 while starting 41 games. At Lakewood High School. 3-0 pitch. That's a ball. On 4 pitches, Shubik draws the walk, and Cleveland State has the tying run on base. Now we'll see if Frost gets anybody working. Yeah, there's some scuffling down there now. In the Akron dugout, somebody's going to start working. Jeff Hart, a right-hander, will start loosening up. The batter is Campbell. And he may be sacrificing all the way here. Anticipating the bunt, creeping in from third is McGuire. The pitch by Finley. A little tap toward first, not necessarily a bunt. It's a sacrifice nonetheless. He kind of took a half swing at it. It was successful in sacrificing Shubik into scoring position. Campbell retired, but it gives CSU the tying run at second base. There's Hart. Right-hander.
He's the short man for the Zips. Only 5'7", I might add.
He's a junior. Top of the order now for Coach Arango's Vikings, and Wallensack, the second baseman's up there. Finley out of the stretch. Ground ball toward third. On a high hop, Hagee will throw to first. That was his only play. He had a notion to try to get Shubik, who advanced over to third. I think it was a wise decision because Shubik had a real good jump. There's 2 gone now, but a runner on third base, and you can score a lot easier from third in a lot of different ways than from second. So Shubik gambled in a 1-out situation, but he got away with it, Larry.
Well, you saw that he stayed down, and he gave a look to third base, but he was down on the ball. It came up a little bit on him. He knows that that gives him the second out. If Finley can just go ahead and get Brandt, we'll be all right.
Now, Brandt was a real threat at the plate for CSU. He tagged a solo shot home run in the first inning. Since then, he grounded out to short in the third and grounded to third in the 5th. Ball 1.
Again, Finley regains his composure, walked the leadoff hitter on 4 pitches, but came right back. He was up with the ball, though. They'll keep a close eye on him.
Oh, good off-speed pitch. 1-1. Finley came in there beautifully that time.
That's the hardest thing for a young player to do. Ordinarily, when they get in a little trouble, they want to go to their fastball, when in reality, they should change up more.
Hard hit ball at short. Hagee, clean pickup, throws to first, and Akron's out of the inning. So CSU threatens, but they do not score. We have completed 7. Good ball game. It's Akron 3, Cleveland State 2. Very impressive pitching from 2 college left-handers in this CSU Akron affair. This is a home game for Cleveland State. Bruce Drennan coming your way with former Indian right-hander and American League All-Star Larry Sorensen. Good to have you aboard on Sports Channel Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. This game moving now into the 8th inning with Akron holding on to a slim 3-2 lead. Paul Simmer, Dave Hudson, and Bill Hagee. Simmer, the first baseman, is 0 for 3. Fly to right, grounded out twice. Here's Adams' pitch. Breaking ball, a good one. Strike is called.
Adams seems like he's struggled just a bit more than Finley, but he certainly has kept his team in this game.
Fine performance today by the Cleveland State left-hander. There's a strike call.
Seems like as we advance in this game, he's gotten stronger.
He's throwing the ball very well. He's changed speeds a little bit more lately, too. But if you only give up 3 runs through 7 innings, I guess you could say that's a quality start.
He's walked 3 batters in this game. Strike is called. He's out of there. Fine work by Adams, getting Simmer on 3 pitches. That's his 3rd strikeout, so he's got 3 strikeouts to go with the 3 walks. 1 gone. It brings up the DH, Dave Hudson. Here's a look at that last pitch, Larry.
Well, as I said, Simmer's been changing up a little bit more, and it looked like Simmer was looking for something off speed. That was just a good fastball, knee-high outside. Awfully tough pitch to hit in any league.
There's a ground ball toward 3rd, cut off by Rodriguez, fires to first, and Hudson is retired. Quickly, 2 up, 2 down in the 8th.
Julio Rodriguez
showed a strong arm on that play.
Brings up Bill Hagee, the sure-handed shortstop for Akron. There's Adams' numbers today. That's a little low, ball 1. Hagee in this ball game is 0 for 2. He walked in the 2nd inning. Since has grounded out twice. Took a little off that pitch, was tying away, 2-0. I'm amazed at the location that both these left-handers have with their breaking pitches. They really nip they nip the black of the plate. That's a strike call.
Adams has been a little wild. He's got 5 walks. He's got 17 walks in the 24 innings he had coming into today. But he's made the good pitches when he's had to.
That's away. 3 balls and a strike. One pitch. And he loses him. Hagee draws the walk. So with 2 outs, Akron gets a base runner. And the 9th man in the order, George Kashak, stepping in. He's 0 for 1. He flied to center field in the 4th, but he walked in the 6th, and he was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd. The Akron center fielder. That's inside, ball 1.
Hit for the 7th time this year. Kid's willing to take a shot for the team. I like that.
Who were guys that were tough for you to avoid hitting? Some guys crowd the plate. Don Baylor, of course.
Sure.
Remember Ron Hunt? That was a little before your time. I remember Ron Hunt with Montreal, played with the Mets a portion of his career. There's a strike call.
Bill Freehand, another player noted for being hit.
Yeah, he crowded the plate.
Now,
fine catcher.
Now a college coach himself at the University of Michigan.
You're pretty familiar with that program. 1-1 pitch. Swung on.
I still go up to Ann Arbor and throw batting practice for the guys, and a couple of my old former players when I was in college are coaches there.
speaking of your alma mater, what do you think of Bo taking over that position with the Tigers?
I think it was a good move for baseball because I think that he'll do a great job in the Detroit area. He's quite a guy. He's quite a charismatic guy.
1-2 delivery. Swung on and flied. Foul territory out of play. I feel line.
Just wonder if his heart will hold up for 80 or 90 losses or 100 losses like the Tigers did last year.
Well, marvelous coaching career at Michigan with the Wolverines.
It caught a lot of people by surprise, though, Larry.
In an administrative capacity, nonetheless, switching sports into baseball. That's fouled at the plate. Count holds.
Well, he claims he was a pretty good left-handed pitcher himself.
Never was able to win the national championship with the Wolverines. Despite all of his accomplishments, that's what he wanted the most.
An Ohio native.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch on the way, and that's fouled out of play.
If you're just joining us,
Akron tallied for 2 runs in the top half of the first. CSU with a solo homer in the bottom of the first, made it a 2-1 game, scored a solo run in the second inning to tie things up. Akron regained the lead with a run in the fourth, and that's where we stand. It's a 3-2 game. There goes the runner, and a little tap back to Adams. He has trouble with it. Everybody's going to be safe. Adams let the ball play him, and as a result, the inning stays alive for the Zips. That's an error.
Adams seemed to fall a little bit off towards the third base side of the diamond that time, and the ball came back on the first base side. He didn't really regain his composure and go over to make the play, and as you said, he let the ball play him.
Well, an opportunity for Akron. Coach Frost would love nothing more than to get an insurance run or two for his nifty lefty, Finley. Here's Rollison, the leadoff man. Had a good day. 3 for 3 with a walk. Scored a run in the first inning. He tripled in the fourth, but that was because of the outfielders having problems with a high sky today and losing some fly balls, not touching them, and that's why it goes as a clean triple. That was a ball hit towards center. Eric Kuchenmeister again loosening up for Cleveland State. This is the 3rd time he's been up in this game, including the very first inning when Adams gave up 2 runs, but he certainly has settled down since. Strike is called. 2 on, 2 out. We're in the 8th. After striking out Zimmer, putting Hudson to ground out, he gave up a walk to Hakey, and then committed the error against Kashak. There's a line drive, base hit, right center field. 1 run is going to score. This will be an attempted 2-bagger, the throw to second, and the runner is safe at second base. A 2-bagger, a run-scoring 2-bagger for Jeff Rollison. What a game he's had. A single, a walk, a triple, a single, and an RBI double here to give Akron a 4-2 lead.
And a nice piece of hitting there by Rollison. The ball up over the plate. He doesn't try to pull it. He takes it out to right field like you should. And again, with the good hustle from home to first, he's able to make it into second base safely on that play. If he doesn't go hard from home to first, as he did in 2 previous base hits, he doesn't get the extra base.
That's going to be all for Adams. Kuchenmeister. Eric Kuchenmeister is now coming in. Adams certainly did his job keeping his team in this game. Finley slightly bettered him today, but a very fine effort nonetheless by Jim Adams. We can see why Adams coming in with a very respectable 2.19 ERA. Eric Kuchenmeister now. He's a right-hander, 5'9", 160 pounds, 22 years old. He's a senior from Brook Park, went to Berea High School. Meister. Well, all right, he's loosened up and raring to go. As we had mentioned, he had been up twice before in this game before being called upon by Coach Arango. Here's McGuire, the third baseman. Ducks on the pond for Akron as they've extended their lead here in the 8th. A 2-out rally. Helped, though, by the walk given up by Adams to Hagee, and then the error by Adams, allowing Kashak to advance. That's outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Jeff Fisher would be next.
Unusual delivery for Kuchermeister. Little bit of a submarine delivery. He'll throw a fastball and a curveball, although most of the time he'll go with that sinking fastball, a la Kent Colby.
Schubeck in to have a word with him, try to settle his pitcher down. 2-0 pitch. 3 balls and no strikes. Check it. That was a called strike on the delay call by Onesto. 2-1. Runners at second and third, 2 gone. Hard hit ball right at the shortstop. Schubeck cleanly fields, fires the first, and CSU is out of the inning. Not before some damage was done. Akron adds to their lead by scoring a run on 1 base hit. There was an error. We've completed 7.5 in the score. Akron 4, CSU 2. Along with Larry Sorensen from Gordon Park on the east side of Cleveland as you look out toward Lake Erie. It's been a good ball game. Akron adding an insurance run. It's a 4-2 game. That may be an all-important run they scored in the 8th there.
Little insurance never hurts at that time of the game. That's a big run.
CSU will lead things off with the meat of the order here in the 8th. Rodriguez, followed by cleanup man Matt McCourt, and then Wintersteller.
Unfortunately for Jim Adams, he really did himself in with the error.
Breaking pitch, swung on and missed. It actually bounced in. 0-2. Andy Finley, the lefty, for Akron in command. Rodriguez is 2 for 3 in the game, had an infield single, doubled, fly to left. Slightly open stance. Pops this one up. Pitcher calling for it, has some problems, and he's called off at the last second by McGuire, the third baseman, who makes the play. Boy, he was flirting with danger. The fundamental rule of thumb there, Larry, is the pitcher is to direct one of the other infielders to take it off of his shoulders.
Well, Finley forgot for a minute that he's supposed to be a non-athlete. He thought he was going to go ahead and make that play. As you said, you're just supposed to stand there and yell at your infielders, tell which one of them to make the catch, and if somebody else tries to interfere, you're supposed to tackle the other player.
Here's McCourt. Breaking pitch.
You know, we haven't seen Finley go to his fastball hardly at all in this game. He just relies on that breaking stuff, changes speed. He's got good control.
There's a little tap toward third. Coming in fast is McGuire in the throw. He gets this man. Very fine play by the third baseman, McGuire, for the second out of the inning. We've seen some good defense in this game, too.
Particularly in the infield, there have been a number of very good plays. You see McGuire come charging in and makes a very, very strong throw to first. He really unloads this ball. You could hear that first baseman's glove pop all the way up here. Simmer's going to have a sore hand when this game's over.
There's McGuire with a fine defensive play. Brings up Wintersteller. Left-handed swinging first baseman is 0 for 3 in this game. Popped up the third, hit into a double play in the third inning, and then struck out leading off the 6th. That ball's ripped but foul on the right field side.
The other thing Finley's done to make himself effective today is he's moved his fastball around in the strike zone when he's had to. As you said, most of the time he has relied on his breaking ball or his off-speed pitch. He's thrown quite a few. But when he's thrown his fastball, he's moved it around in the zone. Never got locked into one area of home plate.
Andy Finley has pitched a gem of a game today. Swung on and missed a good cut.
Now, we'll assume that he meant to move his fastball around like that. Sometimes you're just not exactly sure where it's going, too.
Finley is only a sophomore, 5'10", 165 out of Mogador. Majors in business and organizational communications. Posted a 5-4 record last year. 55 and a third innings of work. 13 zip games. Completed 3 of 8 starts, by the way. Ground ball, right side. Knocked down by Simmer, covering the bag Finley, and Akron zips out of the inning. 1, 2, 3. Finley now has retired 6 in a row. And 10 of the last 11 he's faced. We've completed 8 to score. Akron 4 and CSU 2. Now moves into the 9th inning. Akron adding a run in the 8th to extend their lead to 4-2. They've out-hit Cleveland State 8-5. CSU has committed 4 errors, and the Zips a pair. Meat of the order for Coach Frost's Zips: Fisher, Gaskins, and Hedmensky. Adams, the CSU starter, wound up going 7 2/3 innings, giving up 4 runs on 8 base hits. He walked 5 while striking out 3. A fine effort indeed. But his team hasn't been able to support him as well as he would have liked. Finley has been a little bit tougher. Breaking pitch just misses outside. Ball 1. Fisher is 1 for 4 today. There's a little tap toward the first baseman. Winters stellar. Grabs the spinner and makes the unassisted put out. 1 gone.
You notice Kuchenmeister came up top a little bit more when he threw his breaking ball. Ordinarily, you don't want to give away your pitches like that.
Eric Kuchenmeister came in relief of Adams in the 8th inning. Adams started off that 8th frame fine, retiring the first 2 batters he faced, but then he gave up a walk and he committed an error himself, and that opened up the gates. There's a well-hit ball by Gaskins into left center in the gap. That's it for extra bases. The right fielder, Chris Gaskins, with a stand-up 2-bagger with 1 man gone in the 9th inning. That's the 9th Akron hit. He clubbed this one with a lot of authority, Larry.
That's a hanging breaking ball. They go a long way. And Gaskins got the head out and drilled the ball into the left center field gap. Again, they were shading him a little bit to right, as they have been today.
Now it's all important for Kuchenmeister as far as Cleveland State is concerned. Keep that runner from scoring. They can ill afford at this late stage of the game to give up another run. That's a ball, line inside. Swings one out of the strike zone. That looked like it was high and in tight. He helps Kuchenmeister's cause, and it's 0-2. Ed Hedmensky, the catcher. The balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. That's inside. Eric Kuchenmeister, a senior, working out of the stretch. That popped up and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Don't forget, friends, be looking for us on Sports Channel Ohio. Several more CSU and Akron U baseball games coming your way. We will also be featuring Kent State, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, college baseball action. Swung on and missed. He got him. Kuchenmeister records his first strikeout, second out of the inning.
You see the good action on that fastball from Kuchenmeister. That ball's up in the strike zone a little bit, so it was more of a one-plane fastball. Just ran inside to the right-hand hitter, but you see the good tail on it. No chance.
Well, he has the advantage because Adams, not quite as much as Finley, but nonetheless, Adams was throwing a lot of breaking balls. Lefty had good control of his breaking pitch for the most part today. Now Kuchenmeister coming in with a tailing fastball and being a right-hander after the Akron lineup's been used to looking at a lefty as well.
And he throws harder than Adams did, too, so that's an adjustment.
Paul Simmer, the first baseman. Looks at ball 2. Simmer today is 0 for 4. Got caught looking his last trip to the plate leading off the 8th. Two-0 pitch. There's a strike call. A one-out double by Chris Gaskins here in the 9th inning. Hetmansky then striking out. So 1 on, 2 gone. In a count of 2 balls and a strike on Simmer. Ball 3.
Didn't miss by much, but it missed. You see, Kuchenmeister wanted it. He wanted it bad. Hate to throw those great pitchers pitches and not get them, Bruce.
3-1 delivery. Strike is called. Count goes full. Looking ahead to the 9th for CSU, Zunich, Horley, and Schubeck. 6th, 7th, and 8th hitters in Coach Arango's order today. That's fouled back. Count holding, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Eric Kuchenmeister from Berea. 3-2 pitch. Well hit ball down the right field line, falling. Oh, what a tremendous catch out there by Brandt. A great diving catch right by the line to retire the side. That saved a run, and it could be an all-important run for Akron. Okay, no damage done for CSU as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Last raps for the Vikings. The score, Akron 4, Cleveland State 2. The lead early in the game in the first. Cleveland State tallied for solo runs in the 1st and 2nd innings, and then Akron regained the lead in the 4th before adding a run in the 8th. It's a 4-2 ball game. The Zips have out-hit the Vikings 9-5, and you're looking at Andy Findley, crafty lefty for Coach Frost, who's done a marvelous job today. He looks at Zunich, Horley, and Schubeck to try to wrap things up as the ball game moves to the bottom of the 9th inning. First pitch is high, ball 1. Now, Zunich, the center fielder for CSU, is 0 for 3. He struck out, lined to left, and grounded to short. It's been a good ball game.
Very good ball game by Andy Finley. 115 pitches now.
Breaking pitch, what a beauty. The control this kid has had of that breaking pitch is something to marvel at. He has great confidence with it, too.
What impresses me is the way he changes speeds so much. That's the most difficult thing for a young pitcher to learn, is how to change speeds, and he has done it very, very well.
1-1 pitch. Swung on, little harmless tapper right back to him. He throws to first, and the first baseman, Simmer, couldn't hold on. Oh, that's got to give Coach Frost some gray hairs.
A little bit nonchalant on both players' part right there. Finley had the ball come right back to him, another breaking ball, lifted up, comes back to him, takes his time, doesn't really take his crow hop. You want to take a little step and then throw. And then you see Simmer just didn't quite get up for it. That was a catchable ball.
Absolutely. That's Simmer's error all the way. He's got to grab that. Or action in the Akron. That's Jeff Hart in the Akron bullpen. Jeff Hart. And now we're going to get a pinch hitter for CSU, Manuel Univ. Another one of the Puerto Rican products that Arango has recruited and brought to Cleveland, Ohio, in the CSU baseball program. Muniz. 240 hitter, as you see, with an RBI this year. Looks at a breaking pitch. That misses inside. Ball 1. One on, nobody out. Bottom of the ninth. Akron with a 2-run lead. Swung on, grounded towards short. Hagee's got it, fires a second for one. No chance of a relay. As Zunich does his job in taking out the second baseman, Fisher. So CSU now with a runner at first base and one man gone. Hagee getting the sure out, getting the lead runner.
Would have been an awfully difficult double play. You couldn't see the end of our replay, but Hagee had to go over to his right a couple of steps so his balance was away from second base. Just have to make sure that you get that first out double play still in order. Finley will want to try to throw another ground ball.
It brings up Shubik. A.J. Shubik, the shortstop. Officially, he's 0 for 1. He walked once, and he laid down a sacrifice bunt. Finley delivers. Right down the pipe. The tying run is at the plate for CSU. A 1 pitch. Breaking ball, well hit left field, but right at Rollinson, he makes the grab. 2 outs. Akron 1 out away from victory. It leaves it up to Pat Campbell, although we may see a pinch hitter. Campbell is the 9th man in Arango's order. Hitting for himself. He's 1 for 3. Left-hand swinger, slightly open stance, looks at a strike called, outside corner. There's one that nipped the black of the plate. Looked like it was low and away, but it nipped the black of the plate, Larry.
Well, for those people that don't know, there is a black ridge that runs all the way around that 17-inch home plate. So when you hear a pitcher referring to throwing something on the black, it means they're aiming for that 1-inch wide strip.
There you get a real good shot at it.
You'll hear a lot of guys claiming that they're aiming for it. I'm not sure that's always true.
The umpires are certainly aware of it. It's a little high. 2 balls, a strike. We're at the bottom of the 9th inning. Akron holding on to a 4-2 lead. The tying run is at the plate for Cleveland State and the likes of Campbell as you look at Andy Finley looking for the complete game victory. He has pitched a gem of a ball game.
Still got pretty good juice left, too, considering the amount of pitches that he's thrown today.
2 balls, a strike. 1 on, 2 outs. Akron looking for their 9th win of the year. There's a pitch. Ball 3.
Great ball game by this kid, Andy Finley.
There you see his numbers today. Very impressive. 3-1 delivery. He walked up. Ball 4. Don't go away yet, Fred. What a dandy college game we've been featuring for you today. Campbell draws the walk. It puts the tying runs on base for CSU and brings up leadoff man Don Wallensack. And here comes Coach Frost. I can't imagine him lifting him. He's had heart working in the Akron pen. It's been this kid's game all the way. I don't know, Larry.
Tough decision for him to make. He was very hesitant starting out, not going to do it.
Good decision on Coach Frost's part. This kid has pitched just too great a ball game to deny him the opportunity of earning the complete game victory. It's his game to win or lose, I guess. But it's a touchy situation for Coach Frost because CSU is threatening in the bottom of the 9th inning. Here's Wallensack. Ball 1 is low. Oh for 3 today, walked once. The ball, no strikes, the pitch. That hit him.
That'll do it. Now we've got the tying run at second base.
Oh, my. The bags are juiced for Brian Brandt, who in the first inning hit a solo shot home run for CSU. So he certainly has the power and the RBI ability to do some serious damage. Here comes Frost. That's got to be all for Finley. Well, Finley, who goes 8 2/3 innings. And we'll get a fine round of applause from the fans in attendance here today. There he is, Andy Finley, left-hander for Akron University, really pitched a whale of a game.
But it's still early in the season. You don't want to let him get himself into too much trouble. Let him have a good feeling about the ball game. He really did a great job, and it's going to be Jeff Hart coming in for the 9th time this year. Hart with a .51 ERA has 2 saves to his credit, the only 2 saves recorded by the Zips.
Hart, 5'8", 150 pounds from Wadsworth. He's a junior.
Jeff Hart.
Pitched 17 2/3 innings, as you see on your screen, only 5 base hits. Has a little control problems. He doesn't have any space to put anybody now, though.
There's 2 gone. The bags are juiced. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. Akron leads Cleveland State 4-2. Now, Hart, as I mentioned, a junior, has earned 2 letters at Akron. He made 14 appearances on the Zip staff in '88 and in '89. In 2 seasons of competition, he's accumulated 73 2/3 innings of work, registering a 2-4 career record. Last year, he threw 31 2/3 innings, primarily in relief, giving up only 9 earned runs for the Zips. Best ERA, 2.56 in '89. He's the workhorse reliever for Coach Frost. He received 4 letters while attending Wadsworth High School, 2 each in baseball and in golf. Heck of a golfer.
He has a little bit of a herky-jerky motion. He kind of kicks his leg and hides his arm and then slings the ball at you. As you said, he's only 5'7". Throws a fastball and a slurve, Dave Frost says. And he said for Hart to be really effective, he must get ahead of the hitters. He only throws about 83 or 84 miles an hour, but as all short men are, he's a competitor.
It brings up Brian Brandt. Wallensack on first. Campbell on second. Horley on third. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Here's the pitch. Ball 1 is low. Brandt is 1 for 4. His last 3 trips to the plate, he's harmlessly grounded out, but his first trip to the plate, he tagged a homer to left. 1-0 pitch. That's way outside, 2-0.
The one thing you don't want to do as a reliever is to come in not being able to throw strikes. You try to get ahead of the hitter. That first pitch is so important. You want to turn the count to your advantage.
There you see the base runners. That's the winning run represented on first base in the likes of Wallensack. 3 balls, no strikes. Hart struggling to find the strike zone.
Getting further and further away from the strike zone. His first pitch just missed, then he came back with a breaking ball in the dirt, and that pitch wasn't even close.
3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, bags juiced, watch it. Strike is called.
And Bruce, believe me, every ball you throw makes it harder and harder to throw that next pitch in this situation.
Gotta come again! Fernando Arango, the head baseball coach at Cleveland State in his 12th year. And Brian Brandt, a home run threat. 3-1 delivery. Striking pitch called, strike 2. Well, it comes down to this, huh?
Yeah, these college kids have got some guts, throwing their breaking balls behind in the count. 3-2, ball game on the line. What's he going to throw here?
Everybody will be moving with 2 outs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called. No, he walked walked him. He walked him. Onesco started to put his right hand up, and he walked in the run. It's now a 4-3 ball game. Boy, that was a close call. I thought it was a strike, Larry.
All day long, he's been given that high strike, calling it a strike. Now we go to the breaking ball, and he doesn't.
Watch this now on the replay, friends. It's a wide breaking ball, but notice how it drops. Onesco's been calling that pitch a strike, giving the benefit of the doubt to the pitchers. And Hart certainly thought he had his man. As a result, the run is forced in. It's now a 4-3 game, and here's Rodriguez. Strike is called.
That's a good hard breaking ball from Hart. Hetmansky thought that was strike 3 true. He started out for the dugout. He had high fives in mind.
Coach Frost. No ball's a strike. The pitch. Swung out and popped up. It should be the end of the ball game. Over there is McGuire, and the shortstop Hagee grabs it, and that's the end of the game. Akron, in a thriller, has held on to defeat Cleveland State 4-3. We will pause now for a local break. Akron holds on for the thriller. The Zips for Cleveland State 3. We'll be back in a minute to wrap it up. Ball game this turned out to be. Great pitchers duel throughout. Akron holding on for the 4-3 victory for the victorious Zips. 4 runs on 9 hits with 3 errors. They left 11. Cleveland State, 3 runs on 6 base hits, 3 errors, and they left 9. The winning pitcher was Andy Finley. A save goes to Jeff Hart. The losing pitcher, Jim Adams. Akron's record improves to 9-13 on the year, and CSU falls to 3-9. Heck of a ball game, Larry.
Very good pitching job by 2 young men. Andy Finley, 8 2/3 innings, really did a good job with his off-speed breaking ball. Showed a lot of composure, didn't get rattled with a couple mistakes behind him. Did a great job.
Boy, if this is an indication of what is to come as far as Sports Channel Ohio telecasts of college baseball, we're in for a dandy season.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun this spring, Bruce. Really looking forward to it. It's great to see you and a lot of fun to be working with you on these Sports Channel telecasts.
Good to have you with us, too, Larry. Our next game on Sports Channel Ohio will be Saturday, April the 21st.
Sorry. Cheers, and the writers of Cheers created and wrote the show, all the shows. The